First and foremost, all praises are due to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bashem Yakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth. Salutations to the brothers around the four corners of the earth who are teaching this word and truth and sincerity. And shalom to the hopeful elect of Israel who listen and believe in this word. This is your brother Kawat Sabah coming at you with another lesson. This one is entitled, Examine Yourselves Whether Ye Be in the Faith. And I'm speaking those of us who are part of the 1/3 hopeful elect who have repented and converted, return back to the Lord. In all truthfulness and sincerity, we must continually examine ourselves every day, whether we be in the faith. Otherwise, we'll be a castaway, a reprobate. So let's continue. 2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 5, and it reads, Examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves, how that Yahushua HaMashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates? So the spirit of Yahushua is within us. We've been born again through his sacrifice, through his redemption of us, the nation of Israel, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans here in Babylon, America, and scattered throughout the world. All right? So we have to continually examine ourselves. You see, otherwise we'll be a castaway. So let's get a definition of that word examine real quick and see what that says. This is the Greek translation of the word examine.
Strong's G 3985, pyradzo.
Let's continue here. To try whether a thing can be done. To attempt. To endeavor. To try, make trial of, test, for the purpose of ascertaining his quality or what he thinks, or how he will behave himself. All right? So we want to ascertain to those qualities of Yahushua and Paul and the apostles. We want to behave in a certain way, you see, in a good sense. Let's see here. In a bad sense, to test one maliciously, craftily to put to the proof of his feelings or judgments. To try or test one's faith, virtue, character, by enticement to sin. So, of course, in Ecclesiasticus chapter 2 and verse 1, roughly paraphrasing, once you come into this truth, prepare yourself for temptation. You're going to be tempted. So you have to constantly examine yourself, whether you're in the faith, whether you're doing your best to walk in the spirit, to behave in a righteous way, even though we're in a carnal body. To solicit, to sin, to tempt. Let's see here. All right. Of Yahweh, to inflict evils upon one in order to prove his character in the steadfastness of his faith. So we're going to be tested. Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is going to test us. Tests are going to come, at you. You're going to be tempted. So you have to continually examine yourself. Pray without ceasing. Call on Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. You have that name. It's very powerful. Let's see here. Let's see here. By impious or wicked conduct, to test Yahweh's justice and patience, and to challenge him, as it were, to give proof of his perfections. I wouldn't challenge the Lord or tempt him. It's not a good thing. Now, of course, we all do fall off, but you have to get back on the horse. You have to do your best to walk in the spirit. But we do have moments of weakness. And like I said, a lot of that is to test us. So you have to examine yourself. If you examine yourself daily, then you're going to be on top of it, a lot more. You're going to be conscious of what you're doing. You're going to condemn your own actions if you sin. So let's go back here. Let's get a couple other, wanted to have some other words as far as examining yourself, okay? So examining yourself, endeavoring to discover the nature of something, you see? All right? Comparing the truth you were taught with your daily conduct, attitudes, and decisions, okay? Walking in the spirit. So you want to compare this truth that you've learned of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, okay, the faith of these scriptures, you want to compare them with your daily conduct, okay? your attitudes, the way you're behaving. Are you piling sin upon sin, iniquity upon iniquity? So strive to walk in the Spirit to the best of your ability, all right? So if you're in the faith or in this truth, it's not only about knowing the truth and principles of the scriptures, but also living by those truths. You see? Let's get a precept for that. James chapter 1, all right? James chapter 1 and verse 20, and it reads, see what that says here. Excuse me, James chapter 1 and verse 21. Wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the engrafted word, which is able to save your souls. And we know Yahushua was the word in the flesh. You see? Let's read verse 22. But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. So if you're in the faith truly, if you're living by this truth truly, you're not only going to hear these words, but you're also going to do what they say, okay? Don't just be hearers of the word, but doers of the word. So that's why we're talking about examining yourself, all right? Examining your daily conduct, your attitudes, the way you're behaving. Are you piling iniquity upon iniquity, all right? So you not only want to just know the principles of these scriptures, you know, not only being in the faith and in this truth, but you also want to do the words of the scriptures. You see, you also want to do the words to the best of your ability. Serve the Lord with fear and trembling. Walk in the Spirit. So let's go back here to let's read 2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 4 again. Excuse me, verse 5. Examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. You see, all right. Condemn your own self. Judge your own self. Okay? Catch yourself before you pile iniquity upon iniquity. All right? Question yourself about your daily decisions and attitudes. Know ye not your own selves, how that Yahushua HaMashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates. All right? And we know reprobate, it means to be a castaway. All right? Let's get a definition of that word reprobate real quick. Let's get that real quick. All right. Sorry about that. All right, here we go. This is the Greek translation of the word reprobate.
Strong's G96, adokimos. Adokimos.
Okay, let's see what here. Not standing the test, not approved. So we want to stand the test, okay? We want to have faith. We know faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. All right. And we know that when they tested metals in the ancient days, all right, a reprobate metal was cast away because it didn't stand up to the test. So we want to stand up to the test. And the best way to do that is serve the Lord with fear and trembling, to do your best to walk in the Spirit, to do your best to rehearse the righteous acts, to do your best to pray without ceasing. All right. Okay, let's see here. That which does not prove itself such as it ought. Unfit for, unproved, spurious, reprobate. So basically, you don't want to be a castaway. You don't want to be rejected. You see? All right. So let's go back here. So let's go to some precepts. Titus chapter 1 and New Testament here. We have Titus chapter 1 and we have verse 15. And it reads, unto the pure all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure. But even their mind and conscience is defiled. You see, so we want to be in that pure mind state as much as possible, all right? We don't want to be defiled, all right? Let's read Titus 1 and verse 15, the NLT. Everything is pure to those whose hearts are pure, but nothing is pure to those who are corrupt and unbelieving, because their minds and consciences are corrupted. So we don't want to be one of the unbelievers. So you have to constantly examine yourself to see whether you be in the faith, all right? because your mind could be easily corrupted, in this truth. So let's continue. Let's go to another precept. Let's go to John chapter 14 and verse 23. John chapter 14 and verse 23, and it reads, Yahushua answered and said unto him, If a man love me, he will keep my words, not only be a hearer of the word, but a doer of the word. And my Father will love him, and we will come unto him and make our abode with him. You see? So you want to constantly be in the spirit to the best of your ability. Constantly examine yourself to see if you, you stand up to the test. All right? To see if you're one of the elect. We say hope for elect in humility, but we hope that we are one of the elect. So we're going to have to stand the test of time, the test of, being tempted, afflictions, making sacrifices, so on and so forth. Putting your body under subjection, keeping the carnal body, the carnal mind at bay to the best of your ability. To be spiritually minded is life and peace. To be carnal minded is death. So you don't want to be one of those who are cast away. So let's continue. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 4 for another precept. Hebrews chapter 4, and we have here, this is verse 1, and it reads, Let us therefore fear, lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it. You see? So let us fear the Lord let us fear the Lord. Okay? Serve the Lord with fear and trembling. All right? Because if you don't, that promise of the rest, the day of the Lord, when the 1/3 elect are going to be beamed up and saved out of the destruction of Babylon, America, if you don't serve the Lord with fear and trembling and examine yourself daily, you have a chance of being left out of the promise, of being part of the 1/3 elect on this side that gets saved, okay, on the day of the Lord. You don't want to be part of the 2/3 that's going to get burnt up of the Hebrew Israelites who have not returned to the Lord in truth and sincerity, all right, who don't believe in these words, who are hearers of the word maybe, but not doers of the word. Let me read this again, Hebrews 4 and verse 1. Let us therefore fear lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest on the day of the Lord, getting the new bodies. Any of you should seem to come short of it. So you don't want to come short of it. You see? All right? We want to be part of the 1/3 that receives that promise to be resurrected and saved, whether you die in the faith or you are here on the day of the Lord, you get beamed up and saved. You see? You get the new bodies. Let's read Hebrews 4 and verse 2. For unto us was the gospel preached, the good news, as well as unto them. Okay, the 2/3 of our people that are not going to hearken to this word. But the word preached did not profit them, the 2/3, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. So you have to have faith. You have to be a believer, you see, because this word is going out to the 1/3, hope for elect, as well as the 2/3 of us, all right, the Hebrew Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. So everybody is hearing this word, but 2/3 are not going to have the faith that the 1/3 elect have, you see, in this gospel, this good news, all right? And we know faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, you see? So we haven't seen the big, gigantic chariot with Yahushua on it, but we have faith that he's coming. We have faith that he died, he was resurrected, that he's on the right-hand side of the Father, and that he's coming back in all truthfulness and righteousness as King of Kings and Lord of Lords, and that he's going to beam up the 1/3 elect of the Hebrew Israelites who have come back in the faith. So let's read Hebrews 4 and verse 2 again. For unto us was the gospel preached as well as unto them, but the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. For we which have believed do enter into rest, as he said, as I have sworn in my wrath, if they shall enter into my rest, although the works were finished from the foundation of the world. You see, the elect have been determined from the foundation of the world. The 2/3 have been determined from the foundation of the world. It's already been written. Let's read Hebrews 4, and let's read verse 3 to NLT. For only we who believe can enter his rest, the day of the Lord. Okay, the 1/3 elect are going to be saved and get the new bodies. As for the others, Yahweh said, in my anger I took an oath, they will never enter my place of rest, even though this rest has been ready since he made the world. So the elect have been predestinated before the beginning of the world to be saved, to enter into the rest, all right? To be beamed up into the big gigantic fathership and watch the destruction of Babylon, America. That's going to be soon and forthcoming. So let's continue. Let's go to Psalm chapter 26 and let's read Psalm chapter 26 and let's read verse 1. And it reads, this is King David, of course. Judge me, O Lord, for I have walked in mine integrity. I have trusted also in the Lord, therefore I shall not slide, not waver, not backslide. So examining yourself daily is a way of doing this. You see, Psalms 26, and let's read verse 2. Examine me, O Lord, and prove me. Try my reins and my heart. All right, let's read Psalms 26 and verse 2. The NLT, put me on trial, Lord, and cross-examine me. Test my motives and my heart. Now, you know, when you go to a court of law, okay, somebody may be on trial, and their defense lawyer is gonna, talk to them first, and then the prosecution is gonna come up and cross-examine the defense witness. You see, to test them, to prove them, to see if they're lying or not. You see, so basically, we have to examine ourselves, okay? And the Lord is going to examine us as well. He's going to try our hearts. He's going to tempt us, you see, to see if we really be in the faith, all right? To see if we're really down with this truth, to see if we're really truly down with Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, so on and so forth. Okay, let's read verse 3. Let's read Psalm 26, verse 2 again, the NLT. Put me on trial, Lord, and cross-examine me. Test my motives and my heart. Let's read verse 3 to NLT. For I am always aware of your unfailing love, and I have lived according to your truth. You see? So we have to walk in the truth. Okay, we can't just be hearers of the word. We have to be doers of the word. We have to walk in these truths. So that's part of examining yourself. You see? Examining your motives. Examining your daily life and what you're doing, your attitudes. Examining your thoughts. Okay, your thoughts and what you're thinking daily. So let's continue. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 11. New Testament, 1 Corinthians. And we're going to read chapter 11. And let's read verse 26. And let's see what that says here. 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 26. And it reads, for as often as ye eat this bread and drink this cup, ye do show the Lord's death till he come. And part of eating the bread and drinking the cup of the Lord is reading these scriptures, okay, and using these scriptures as a guide for your life. All right. So when we know that Yahweh Shai is the Word in the flesh. All right. So when he was at the Passover meal before he was crucified, that was one of the main things he was talking about, okay? Eating this bread and drinking this cup, all right? And not taking his sacrifice for granted. And part of doing that is, all right, is eating these words, believing in these words. Because Yahweh Shai, like I said, was the Word in the flesh, all right? Let me read this again, 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 26. For as often as ye eat this bread and drink this cup, ye do show the Lord's death till he come, all right? Wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord. So you want to do this in all truthfulness and righteousness. You want to be sincere. So you want to examine yourself, all right? You don't want to, get into this truth, this faith, and be unworthy, you see? Let's read verse 28. But let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. So examine yourself daily if you're in this faith, if you're in this truth, if you truly believe in Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. if you believe in the day of the Lord. So let's read verse 29. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. Let's read 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 29 in NLT. But if you eat the bread or drink the cup without honoring the body of Yahushua, you are eating and drinking Yahweh's judgment upon yourself. So this is a constant examination whether you be in the faith. Okay? Because if you're not doing this worthily, then you're going to be cast away. You're going to be part of the 2/3 that's going to eat a nuclear missile on the day of the Lord. But you will come back in the kingdom as the children of the 1/3 elect in the kingdom. You see, all of Israel was saved pursuant to Romans chapter 11 and verse 26. Let's read this again. 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 29, the NLT. For if you eat the bread or drink the cup without honoring the body of Yahushua, you are eating and drinking Yahweh's judgment upon yourself. This read verse 30 to NLT. This is why many of you are weak and sick, and some have even died. All right, so some have already been cast away. All right, they're in the spirit world. They may have been in this truth, okay? They may have had faith at one time, but they weren't examining themselves daily. They fell out the truth. You see what I'm saying? They became a castaway. Let's read verse 31 to NLT. But if we would examine ourselves, we would not be judged by Yahweh in this way. So examine your own self. Condemn your own self if you sin. All right? Condemn your own self if you give in to your lustful desires. All right? So you have to examine yourself whether you be in this faith, whether you be in this truth. Okay? Whether you're going to give 100% to the best of your ability. Whether you're going to give full diligence to make your calling and election sure. So on that note, I hope this lesson was edifying to you, and I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Awashah Bashim Rakakwadash. Shalom.